What is going on, guys? Electric Infamous here, and welcome back. I'm going to talk a little bit about factions. One in particular here in Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning through the power of backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5. Um, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Travelers Guild in this game. Um, I went through it a while back. I went all the way through it. And I was very impressed and surprised. And it felt like it's basically like the Thieves Guild of that in previous Elder Scrolls games, particularly um, um, Skyrim and Oblivion style in a way. Um, More of a Skyrim style than Oblivion style, but it's much better written in my opinion. And I'm not saying that the Thieves Guild in Oblivion was fantastic. It was phenomenal. It was definitely one of the best factions in Oblivion by far. But amongst other factions in that game. But that's going to be a whole entire separate video. So I don't want to be off topic too much. Um, but I can tell you right now, the Travelers, or known as the Thieves Guild in this game, is that much better than Skyrim's. Yes, granted that Skyrim is, to me, versus Kingdoms of Amalur is, yes, it has a much more higher fan base, but I feel like that Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning or Re-Reckoning is a game, as everybody have previously mentioned about though too, is that it's a very underappreciated game. It was really overlooked from that of Skyrim because Skyrim came out back in 2011. Okay. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, before the remastered, came out in the year 2012. So, hence the reason why this game got overlooked so much. But anyways, going back to the faction here, specifically the Travelers, to me, it was very reminiscent of that of Oblivion's Thieves Guild rather than of Skyrim's. But like I said, the Travelers or the Thieves Guild in this game is very informative. It's very unique, and it has that type of style or concept as to what Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion did in terms of the Thieves Guild itself in that game as well. But in Skyrim's Thieves Guild, while I did like it a lot, quite a bit actually, but what I'm saying is that I feel like that Kingdoms of Amalur does the Travelers or the Thieves Guild better in terms of its story arc. And that's what makes it so different from that of Skyrim's Thieves Guild, because I feel that when it comes to factions in games, specifically, whether if it's Kingdoms of Amalur or Elder Scrolls games or vice versa, you're always going to have a certain type of differential way of being able to connect with something. I was trying to find better words there, so bear with me. So yeah, that's how I felt about this faction particularly in this game. Because to me, like I said, it felt different, but that's what made it so good as well, and that's what made it so cool. And yes, it did actually feel like a Thieves Guild, which was even more awesome because when you played through the Thieves Guild in Oblivion, it definitely still had that vibe of Oblivion-style Thieves Guild, but not like the ranking system. Well, kind of. I can't really say what the ranking system was sort of in the Thieves Guild or the Travelers in Kingdoms of Amalur, but like I said, it definitely felt like it had the Thieves Guild vibe very much so from that of Oblivion's rather than Skyrim's. And that's what makes it so great. So, that's all I have to say about that at that moment. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm saying a lot. I'm just trying to be able to find the words that I'm really trying to negotiate through my mouth, so that way I could be able to know what I'm talking about here. Um, so bear with, yeah. So, anyways, so yeah, that's what makes. I believe that's what really makes a really good game, other than its main storyline. You have factions, and there are other factions that I have joined as well, and I went through. There was one called the House of Ballads. I really can't say what kind of a faction that is, but it's kind of like of a I'm trying to think if it's kind of like a little bit of a fighters guild sort of way, but there is one faction in particular that definitely reminiscence of the fighters guild. Is what it was called Warsworn. And where the Warsworn is in this game, it's going to be at the Shieldring Keep in this game, and that's where you're going to be able to start the uh, that guild. So that's cool. There is another faction in this game that really thoroughly enjoyed quite a bit, which was the Scalia Arcana, which is known basically as the Mages Guild. And it definitely felt like that of not Skyrim's, but it definitely felt like that of Oblivion's. I went through the Oblivion's Mages Guild a little bit, but not too far. But it definitely had the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion style to it, mechanic wise, as in like story, in it and its infrastructure, and just the way it was just the coolness of it all, if that makes sense. So basically, those are the only factions that I can basically really catch my drift in terms of what I really truly thought about them. I think that's the core thing here. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to factions in any kind of game, whether if they're like that reminiscence to that of like maybe Skyrim's or Oblivion's, but like I said, Kingdoms of Amalur's factions are they're always going to be different. They're always going to be unique in their own sort of way, and Oblivion's factions were like that as well. So that's what makes Oblivion's factions and Kingdoms of Amalur factions are very, yes, they are going to be different, but they still have that Elder Scrolls vibe to it, and that's what I'm like, and that's why I said to myself, I'm like, wow, that is cool. But yeah, man, it's just so cool of what you can do in terms of these types of games, man. It's really cool. So, but anyways, I just thought I'd make this quick video on this because I felt like that, discussing just a little bit of what factions are in this game and how they feel different and unique, but having all of that, some of that reminiscence of what the Elder Scrolls Oblivion's factions were. I remember I went through the Fighters Guild a little bit. I'm like, oh, dude, this is so cool. It's the same thing with the Mages Guild. It's the same thing with the Thieves Guild. Oh my goodness, man, I love the Thieves Guild in Oblivion. It was so good, dude. It was definitely one of the best I've ever played, honestly, in terms of its story. I love the story in the Thieves Guild in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. The same thing as that of Kingdoms of Amalur, and that's why I said, that's why I love these factions in this game. Other than having it being, yes, the factions in this game are going to be different from that of Oblivion's, but they are very high up there in terms of that type of concept of what the guilds did in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I needed to put that out there because I'm telling you, dude, if you really want to play a game that is going to give you a good story, not just through its main storyline of this game, but if you really want to go through the factions, by all means, go through the factions, man. I'm telling you. The factions in this game are really good. They're well written. They're well produced. It just it just fits through the whole entire main story of the game itself though too, and that's what makes it even more cool. And not only that, this game has like very unique biomes, and that's another thing I would really like to discuss here though too. But I don't want to put it in this video because I feel like that's going to be a separate video. Because I like to make separate videos in terms of, the concepts and the gameplay mechanics and the different types of things that this game does. And it's just so interesting of how a game can do that. And Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning does that. It's amazing. And I felt like that, especially in Skyrim for me, I felt like that Skyrim's it didn't really have that much of a biome, really. Well, it kind of did, but it felt it was a little lacking. Obviously, games like that can be a little lackluster in terms of different types of areas that have different types of biomes. You can have a tropical biome, you can have like a snow biome, you can have. You see where I'm going with this, right? So that's what makes Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning does. It shows you different types of biomes of each area that you visit within the game, and that's what makes it even more unique in terms of that. So, but anyways, like I said, this is the Electric Infamous here. I thought I'd share this quick video here of this game and talking a little bit about factions, maybe talking a little bit of biomes, because like I previously mentioned, I talked a little bit of that. So, but anyways, too much further ado, thank you for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great one. Have a good day, and peace.